Welcome to the Killer Author Club. 3 best-selling authors talking about killing, of the fictional kind, with the best thriller and suspense authors in the business. Killer conversations, killer cocktails, and killer guests, with your hosts, Kimberly Bell, Heather Gutenkopf, and Kara Ruda. This is the Killer Author Club.
Hello, and welcome to the Killer Author Club, your favorite haunt for all things murder, mystery, and mayhem. Tonight, we are so excited to welcome Peter Swanson to the Killer Author Club hot seat. We have all the questions about his innovative and intriguing Kill Your Darlings, things like how do you write a novel backwards? Grab your list of questions, your poison of choice, a cocktail or mocktail, and get ready to kill the lights. I'm Killer Kimberly Bell.
I'm Killer Peter Swanson.
I'm Killer Kara Ruda.
And I'm Killer Heather Gutenkopf.
And before we start killing all our darlings, a couple of quick PSAs. If you love tonight's show and want more, check out the Killer Postmortem, the podcast exclusive after show where every guest confesses something deadly. Tonight's show will be available on your favorite podcasting app starting this Friday. Links to download are at killerauthorclub.com. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our newsletter so you never miss our killer breaking news. Newsletters go out at the end of every month. No spam, we promise. And now, Kara, would you please introduce our killer guest?
I'd love to. Peter Swanson is the New York Times bestselling author of The Kind Worth Killing, winner of the New England Society Book Award, and finalist for the CWA Ian Fleming Steel Dagger. For Every Fear, an NPR Book of the Year, and 8 Perfect Murders, a New York Times bestseller, among others. His books have been translated into 30 languages. He lives on the North Shore of Massachusetts, where he is at work on his next novel. We have so many questions about Kill Your Darlings, but can we start with a quick elevator pitch, please, Peter?
Yes. So as you've said, Kill Your Darlings is a book that goes in reverse. It's about a married couple called Tom and Wendy Graves. And when we meet them, they are sort of in their mid-50s. They've been married 25 years. They're recent empty nesters. And Wendy wants to kill Tom very badly. She thinks he's going to give away a secret from their past. And what we do in the story is we go backwards through time all the way to that secret and beyond it to find out like what brought them to this point in their marriage.
Yeah, exactly. It was such a great book. We loved it. And we are going to get to more questions in a minute. But first, Heather, can you tell us about the killer cocktail?
Yes. So Peter has chosen the Travis McGee, inspired by Kill Your Darlings. So, Peter, why is this your cocktail poison of choice?
Well, this is inspired by, and I'm going to show the book. So the Travis McGee is based on these books. John D. MacDonald, some of you might know them. Maybe they were in your dad's house, all these paperbacks, these 1960s Travis McGee books, which I loved. And Travis, who was like a boat bum who solved crimes, had this drink, which was primarily Plymouth gin. And I'm going to show you because it's my favorite gin. I came prepared. Do you see this?
We like that.
Plymouth gin, his drink was primarily Plymouth gin on the rocks with like a splash of vermouth or Cokie Americano, which is what I like. And he was my entry-level character, one of my entry-level characters in the world of mysteries and thrillers. So this is in honor of him.
Love it.
Amazing. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you.
All right. So we created the Killer Author Club so readers like you could get up close and personal with your favorite thriller writers. This season's lineup is stacked with killers. Karen Slaughter, we have an extra date for her. Check it out on our website. Anthony Horowitz, Chevy Stevens, our very own Killer Heather, plus so many more for dates, times, past episodes, etc. Surf to killerauthorclub.com. But tonight, it's all about Kill Your Darlings, a dazzlingly clever murder mystery told backwards, asking the question, why would this loving wife murder her husband? Jillian McAllister, New York Times bestselling author of Famous Last Words and Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and a 2026 guest to be. Both a meditation on comeuppance and a steely nail biter, a heady, elusive, tweety, seedy, slow burn. What a great quote. That's from
Tweety seedy was something I'd never heard. And that when that quote, I was like, Tweety seedy. I was like, okay, I can see it.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect. That's Kirkus Reviews who gave that great quote.
I know. Kirkus actually like my book.
Cranky Kirkus, right? But they love
Kirkus like my book. Yeah.
So, Peter, clearly you are an ingenious and innovative killer. And now we need to know your answer to the killer question. Who do you kill?
Well, I've given this some thought, and I often have in my books, especially in Kind Worth Killing and it's sort of semi-sequels, I often have my protagonist is often a killer. So my protagonist is not always a detective figure. It's often someone who kills on their own. So how do you make protagonist your killer? I think some people want to answer that question. So the answer I have is have them kill really, really despicable people who deserve to die. Because then you're on the side of the killer. Because otherwise, that's how you do it. You know, that's how you make a sympathetic killer is you kill horrible people.
Yeah. I love it. Like Dexter.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the model. And yeah, interesting you mentioned Dexter. It's back on, and another reiteration. Like, I mean, how many times are they going to keep coming back with the show? But I love Dexter, so I'm not complaining. But
I was going to say, as long as people keep watching, they'll keep coming.
I know they'll keep bringing them back to life for one more series. Exactly.
Early Dexter, old Dexter, middle-aged Dexter, every
Dexter. Yeah.
Grandpa Dexter.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, like for all the boomers.
Dexter is now in the woods. Dexter is like has a son. Yeah.
It's wild.
I love it. All right. So I feel like when we talk about your book, the first question has to be like, how did you come up with, let's go backwards in time? Is that the idea that came to you first, or did you first come up with the marriage and them having this secret? Like, what was the first like idea in your head?
So initially I wanted to write a book in reverse. And I think as all you guys know, murder mysteries are often kind of reverse narratives in a way. Like if you think of your classic whodunit, you think of it opens with a body in the library, say. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we then move forward with the detective. But by the end, what we find out is everything that happened before that body arrived in the library. So there's always, and you know, there's dual timelines. There's often time reveals that aren't in chronological order in mystery novels. So I had this idea, well, what if you could do one completely in reverse? That way you'd really start at the end and go backwards. And you know, I wanted to do this story. It was similar to like the movie Memento, a play by Harold Pinter called Betrayal. But I didn't quite have the story. And the way the story came, the spark of that was I was picturing a couple, like a young couple who kind of your classic film noir setup where like a young adulterous couple want to kill a husband or a wife. And they set about, you know, they want to bump off the spouse and get the money and live happily ever after. Of course, they don't live happily ever after. You know, it always goes wrong. But the spark that I had was, well, what if they got away with it? And what if they got married? And what if this couple got old together or older? What would they be like then if they'd committed this crime in the past? And that's the story that made me think this is my reverse tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of them has the husband has a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
And a lot of is carrying a lot of, you know, emotions about what happened that the wife doesn't seem to have, right?
Yeah, that Wendy is a compartmentalizer. I think very early on, I kind of realized that this is a book about guilt. Yeah. Wendy as a character is someone who can put her emotional life in compartments and be fine with that and just push things to the side. And Tom can't do that. So he's at the age of 55, which is when we start the book, he's drinking too much. He's kind of an emotional wreck. And she is worried that he's going to reveal some of their dark past that they've been committed to never revealing. So it's very much about different reactions to the same thing.
Mhm.
Now, did you actually write it from backwards to forward or forwards to backwards and then rearrange? How did you, or did you just
could have
jump
done
in
that.
wherever? Yeah.
I could have done that. No, I think in the end, it made sense to write it the way people will read it, which is starting at the end and moving backwards. Because I had to keep thinking about them in that direction. But that said, I really did know. Often I kind of make up my books as they go along. In this case, I really needed to know what they had done in advance. So I knew a lot of what they'd done. I knew a lot about their lives, and I'd done a little bit of writing in preparation for that. But when I really sat down and wrote, the first full section I wrote is the first section in the book when they're older.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. And you've described the story as New England noir. And what is it about the region, like its landscapes and the communities and intellectualism, that lends itself so well to the quiet menace and creeping dread?
I mean, partly I write about New England because I live here. That's the first thing. And, and I love living here and I grew up here. But I do think it is a good setting for crime. You have, you have the seashore. And not only that, but it's quite like gray. You have cliffside walks. You have gray rocks. You have gray days. You have storms. So you have some moody weather. But I also think you have, in New England, you have like reticent people. You have like a different vibe here, and I think it suits well to Gothic mystery, and New England noir, I guess noir a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's well suited. But it's primarily I write about it because that's where I'm from.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can see that the weather is in your corner for sure. It can be really cold and kind of brutal in the winter, and
As I'm sitting here like sweating in New England, like
Right.
that's
Right.
pouring down the back of my neck. I don't know. Hopefully you can't see that out there, but we have a very humid day today, and I have my window open. But yes, most of the year it's quite moody weather. Dark and gray, which is the way I love it. And I'm particularly attracted to Maine. I grew up in Massachusetts, but I used to vacation in Maine, and I set a lot of my books there on the sort of rocky coast, which is kind of my favorite landscape in the world.
So beautiful there. All my kids went to camp in Maine, so I got to go.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
They didn't go to Camp Fernwood, did they?
Yes. Well, my daughter went to Fernwood Cove.
Fernwood Cove, I know it well.
Yeah.
Well, we can discuss this after because we're getting into like inside info. But my best friend in the world, his family ran Fernwood and then briefly Fernwood Cove.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
We'll save that.
okay, we'll talk about that later.
Well, that sounds like it's a great name and it sounds like that would be a great place for a thriller too.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Nothing bad happens at those camps, usually.
Yes. Who knows?
Yeah.
With those young girls. Yeah.
Anyway.
Funny. Well, I want to go back to like writing a book backwards, like just kind of the logistics of doing that, because I mean, you said you knew kind of what the crime was that they were hiding, but like, did you have an outline, and how do you, when you're working backwards in a story, how do you maintain like that tension?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. So first of all, what I'll say is it was really hard.
I was going to say, it seems like it was going to be really hard.
And at times there might have been despair in the process. I mean, I'm sure you're all familiar with this.
No.
Extra special despair though, this one.
Yeah,
right?
extra special. Right. There's despair in every book I've written, and this was extra special because I was like, how, right, you're building suspense in a very different way.
Yeah.
Because your reveals are coming backwards. So your reveals are always coming to characters who haven't, it gets confusing, that they haven't experienced it yet. And then you have to get to the end. I think at one point when I was at my most despairing, I was kind of I was thinking about how they'd met, and I was thinking about what would be revealed at the beginning that would make a difference toward the end.
Yeah.
Because there are things that happen in our lives. We live our lives in reverse in a weird way. Because we're just reflecting backwards and moving forward. So there's this weird way it makes sense, but I was like, what would these characters learn early on that would be something they either forgot or remembered that would make a difference in the future? And so it really made me think so differently about lives, how they're lived. And that sounds like I enjoyed that. But I mean, I did to a certain degree, but it was also really hard. And it was really hard to think about suspense in reverse. And I nearly quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a genuine nearly quit, although I say that a lot, but in the end, I hope I did it justice. I will say this, I will be writing my future novels in the normal chronological order.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this was such a fun read because, as a reader and a writer, just to see how
Yeah.
you laid the pieces out.
Right.
It's challenging as a read too. I think I've heard from some people, because it's ultimately like you have to readjust your thought, which is what I just read. My characters, if I've moved on to the next section, they don't know about that.
Yeah.
So that was really hard as a writer.
Yeah.
It's like you're constantly starting with this weird blank page every section.
Mhm.
So it was challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think you did it. You figured it out. You landed the plane because,
Thank you for that.
and we're all about no spoilers here at the Killer Author Club, so I don't want to give anything away. But it was one of those endings that once you got to the end, it like everything just like fell into place. It was really brilliant.
Yeah.
We all like to hear that, right?
Yeah. Great diabolical characters, like in a dance the whole way through. It's
Right.
great.
So,
And I love marriage thrillers because of that, because this is the person that you're married to, right? And so you're supposed to love and treasure them, but you want to kill them. And that's often the case in life too.
yeah.
Well, it's one of those stories. I mean, you all know this, but when you start writing a book, sometimes you don't, what it's about, like, the plot maybe, but you don't always know what it's about. And then it's sort of at some point you're like, oh, it's about this. It's about being a parent, or and then I was like, oh, this is about a long marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, and it got dark. My wife kind of hates this book. And this is, and Tom and Wendy are in no way us, but she's like, oh, it's a dark book about marriage. Like they have because there are moments when you see them when they're good, and they're doing very poorly when we first meet them. So I was like, that's what this book is about.
Yeah, that's what my husband and I went on tour together because we've been married forever, and it's a marriage thriller. And so he's like, he would get all these questions like, are you sleeping with one eye open? What is this thing? So I'm like, why don't you just come up and do the talk with me? Because there is something about a long, there's something about a long-term marriage that is just is true. I mean, it rings true to people that, we go darker with it, hopefully, than most people. But you do sometimes just say, I want to kill you because you forgot to take out the trash, for example. That passes.
Or
but
you're breathing wrong, or whatever.
Yeah, or something's happening. So to kind of put that.
There's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene early in my book, and I think I read it out loud for an interview I did, and it's like he's it's late at night. He's had too much to drink. It's the end of the party. And he's like listening to his jazz, which he likes to listen to. And he's like air keyboarding, like along with the jazz. And she looks at him, and I think her thought is like, oh no, I really hate him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
This
and
is the end. Yeah.
And I think with Tom and Wendy, because they do have a secret that is quite deplorable, but I like them. I like them so much.
Yeah.
And, they had their annoying traits as well, but they were funny, and they were funny together. And so how do you balance that, where you make the characters likable and fun, but
I always think of I like to think of my villains as like, your villains don't know they're villains, right? They're just living their lives. I mean, sometimes they do, but in general, I was like, I needed them to have done this one bad thing, and then there was a ton of normal life around it.
Mhm.
Like they had a kid, and they got married, and they have a scare when their kid goes. I mean, they like most of their life. And again, it's a way to think about villains is like, they're not 24/7. They're not like this plotting. Like your villains are living lives. Like, yes, exactly. Twirling mustaches. So I tried to think of them that way, as like, they're most of the day. Yeah. I mean, they're not out killing people every day.
Yeah.
They're basically have to hold down jobs and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
long
And
term
Heather
goal.
was right. The wittiness goes a long way, right? When you're reading, in how you feel about a character, makes you really like them, even when they're kind of despicable.
I think they've got like, I think I wanted them to have like a, like they talked well to each other, like they were funny with each other, to give them that. I mean, they've lost trust in one another, which is sort of, I mean, trust is the key, right? In most, I think, in long marriages, not to get too deep, but I mean, ultimately it's about this kind of like knowing where you're, like trusting one another, and they've lost that, but that what they still have is actually like a little bit of a way to talk to one another that's got some wit to it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. We loved it. And guess what, you guys? It is time for the giveaway. Yay.
Way.
Peter is giving away 2 copies of Kill Your Darlings to lucky US viewers. It doesn't matter where you're watching. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please make sure to shout out where you're from when you answer this question. Why do you think the book is called Kill Your Darlings? That's a tough one. We usually have like yes or no.
Yeah, that's like an essay question.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't write that question. I'm sorry. And if you don't like
We
that
will
question,
only accept answers of 500 words or more.
oh my gosh, that's
I
true.
love it.
Okay, sorry about that, you guys, but just answer anything and you're entered. So there you go.
Yeah. You can be really quick.
Yeah.
So funny. So as Killers, we are big fans of independent booksellers and want to support them in any way we can, and support the ones that our killer authors love as well. So Peter has chosen the Bookstore of Gloucester in Gloucester, Massachusetts as his special store tonight. So Peter, can you tell us what is so special about your bookstore?
I can. Yes, the Bookstore of Gloucester is a great indie in downtown Gloucester. In fact, Gloucester is such a great city, but Arwen, who runs it, is a terrific bookseller. Her team is great. It's a small store, but they know their books and are totally involved in the community, and very important to me here up on Cape Ann and North Shore of Massachusetts.
Wonderful. So we all need to go visit when we get out east.
Yes. I mean, come visit Gloucester, of course.
Yes. So we'll be dropping a link in the comments so you can order your copy of Kill Your Darlings along with any others on your wish list.
Absolutely. And as you know, the Killers love to read, and we love it when you share what you're reading in our Facebook group, post pictures, write reviews, ask for recommendations, and give yours. Tonight, though, we want to know, Peter, what are you currently reading?
I have it right here. This is a brand new book. It just came out. It's The House on Buzzards Bay by Dwyer Murphy. I'm going to hold it like this. I love this cover.
Yeah,
Isn't it a good cover? I love a gothic cover, and it's got so I love that. And the book itself is also set on like the New England coast, and it's about a group of friends that have long been sharing these vacations together on the coast of southern Massachusetts, different from me. And it's just about a really creepy summer, and it's a really good slow burn gothic mystery.
Ooh.
Love a gothic.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too.
And speaking of amazing books, we have two fabulous new releases we want to celebrate tonight. First up, Mrs. Plansky Goes Rogue by Spencer Quinn. Mrs. Plansky is gearing up to celebrate a tennis win with her new doubles partner on his yacht until the yacht goes up in flames. When the doubles partner goes missing along with her wayward tennis pro son, Mrs. Plansky is on the case. We also have the final episode by Lori Ray. When a true crime series chronicles the tragic childhood summer that changed her life forever, a young woman must grapple with the truth about her father and herself. We've got 3 copies of Mrs. Plansky Goes Rogue and 1 copy of the final episode to give away to U.S. viewers. Comment if you want in and tell us where you're from, and good luck. And don't forget to check out the Killer's latest books.
That's right. Jill is not happy, but Killer Kara is, because her book is out in the world, a thriller about an ill-fated road trip that resurrects a married couple's darkest secrets.
Sound familiar, Peter? And you know who else isn't happy? The main characters in Heather's upcoming thriller, The Perfect Host, when one of their over-the-top gender reveal parties goes off the rails. Pre-ordered this one out in November.
Yes, and have you read Killer Kimberly's latest, The Expat Affair, about 2 American expats in the deadly world of Amsterdam's diamond industry? Links for all of these are coming up. And membership has its privileges. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Club, where every episode the killers choose a name from the hat to win a piece of swag. T-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. And tonight's winner is Renee Gorman. So congrats, Renee. Yay. So make sure you drop us a message, Renee, and we will get this swag out to you ASAP. And want to be the next winner? Then please join. So please join our Facebook group, and you're automatically entered. Link coming up in the comments. And a big thank you to bookreporter.com for sharing the murdery love. Stay up to date on bookish news and events at bookreporter.com.
So, Peter, we have some excellent news for you.
Okay.
You have survived the Killer Author Club. Woo!
Barely.
Barely.
No, I'm so happy that this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys. I'm lucky. I feel very fortunate to have survived all those questions.
So tell us where our listeners and viewers can find you.
Probably the best thing is go through my website, peterswanson.com. There's a hyphen between Peter and Swanson. That will lead you to my 2 socials, which is Instagram and Facebook. And you can find me on those.
Awesome.
Perfect. And that's enough. Those are enough platforms, I think. Yeah. And that does it for tonight's episode. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Join us back here in 2 weeks on July 29th, when we'll have superstar guest Anthony Horowitz in the club to chat about Marble Hall murders. In the meantime, please find us wasting entirely too much time on Instagram, Facebook, and occasionally TikTok, not me. For times, upcoming schedule, past episodes, recipes, and merch, surf to killerauthorclub.com. Thank you for being part of the club.
Thank you guys so much. And Anthony Horowitz is great. He's one of my favorites.
We're excited.
Yeah. Thank you.
That does it for tonight's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to catch our next show live, we're every other Tuesday night on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For times, upcoming schedule, and to catch up on past episodes, visit us at killerauthorclub.com. Happy reading. Now get on out there and kill that TBR.